Hi, welcome to our YouTube channel, and in this video we will understand the concept of Avasthatraya. This is a very simple but effective method that Vedanta uses to explain to us how the nature of reality actually is. So in this method, we are basically looking at the three states of consciousness. This is the waking state and the dreaming state and the deep sleep state. These three are the states which all of us go through every single day. So in this video, we will try to understand how the nature of reality actually is by understanding the three states of consciousness. Now let's start with the levels of reality. Basically, Vedanta says that there are three levels of reality. One is absolute reality, which is called as Paramarthika Satya in Sanskrit. This is God or consciousness. And then there is transactional reality, which is the activities that we go through, and our entire life is spent in this transactional reality. Then comes the illusory reality. This is the dreaming, imagination, whatever seems real, but that which is actually not real is the illusory reality. So what Vedanta tells us is that there is something called as the absolute reality, then comes the transactional reality, and then there is illusory reality. So this absolute reality is an independent reality. It does not require anything else for its existence. Whereas these two other levels of realities are dependent realities, in the sense that these two levels of realities take their existence or derive their existence from consciousness, right? Without consciousness, there cannot be any activities or any experiences as such. So our waking state and our experiences are dependent on that absolute reality, which is consciousness. So these are the three levels of reality that Vedanta, propounds. Now let us understand another concept, right? Which is the first part of the video. And here we'll understand the three bodies that we have. So Vedanta says that we all of us have three bodies, right? One is our physical body. Second is our subtle body. Third is our causal body. Physical body is very, easy to understand. It is the body which is made of flesh, blood and bones that we have. This is the physical body. Subtle body is nothing but our minds. So our mind is the subtle body with feelings, emotions, belief systems, etc. Then comes the causal body. So this is a little bit difficult to understand, but Vedanta says that our causal body is nothing but our ignorance, right? We do not perceive this reality as it is, as one consciousness. We think and we perceive this reality as something which is separate from us, right? We think that we have a separate existence apart from this world. So this is because of our ignorance, which is associated with the causal body. Now, as I said, there are three states in consciousness, or there are three states of consciousness. So each of these bodies have a dominance with respect to each of the states of consciousness. For example, the physical body is dominant during the waking state, right? This is obvious to us. During the waking state, we are performing various activities. You are watching this video right now, your senses are active. So during the waking state, we are using our physical bodies dominantly. And then comes the dreaming state. In the dream state, the subtle body or mind is active. Physical body is inactive, but the subtle body or mind is active, and it is projecting various experiences and scenarios within the dream. So the subtle body is active in the dream state, whereas the causal body is more dominant, or it is the only body which is active during the deep sleep state. So during the deep sleep state, there is nothing going on actually. There is no activity as such, and your mind has completely subsided. So only causal body is active here. So there is an absence of experience, but still your identity exists even there at a subtle level. Now, let us understand the next concept that we need to understand, right? Which is the nature of dream. So, what happens in the dream state is that, first of all, an environment is projected. Then something called as the dream ego is projected, right? First there is the environment. This is the dream environment. Then there is the dream ego. So there is a point of experience within the dream, and then this dream ego has its own perspective and it is having its own experiences, and there are different objects of dreams, right? So there are different objects and different people and different things within the dream which you are experiencing, which are the objects of dream. Now let's talk about how a dream works, right? Within the dream, your mind projects an experience for you. You assume the identity of the dream ego, which is not technically yourself but a version of yourself, and then you experience different environments and different objects and different things. You talk to different people, you fight, you have various experiences within the dream. But during the dream, you don't realize that it is not a reality. It is only when you wake up, from the perspective of the waker, you realize that the dream was not a reality and it was an illusion. But within the dream, you think and you believe the experience to be real. Now, what happens in the waking state? This is what happens in dream, but now let's talk about the waking state. So, even in the waking state, the same thing happens, right? Almost the same thing happens. There is an environment. Let's call this environment the universe. And then there is you. So, then there is you, which is your mind, because you think that you are your mind and you have various experiences from the point of view of the subtle body or the mind. So even here again there is a point of view, a world view and a self view, and there are different objects and different people and there are different things within the waking state and this universe which you experience, right? This is the objects of universe. So even in the waking state, almost the same thing is going on. Of course, there are a lot of differences between the waking state and the dream state. Let us look at them one by one. First of all, reality is much more, sophisticated in the waking state. And there is continuity and coherence. Within the waking state, there is a certain continuity. Within the dream, you dream different dreams every single day. Today you dream something and tomorrow you dream something else. But in the waking state, there is a progression and there is a continuity that is going on. And then there are natural laws, there is time and space which works in a predictable way in the waking state. So basically the waking state is much more sophisticated than the dream state. So initially we discussed the three levels of reality, where the lowest level is illusory reality, which is pratibhasika, and the dream state can be associated with this level of reality. And then comes the transactional reality or vyavaharika state. Our waking state and this life that we go through can be associated with the transactional reality. Although there is a lot of difference between these two levels of reality, what Vedanta tells us is that even though the waking state is much more sophisticated and seems much more real than the dream state, even this is an illusion from the point of view of the ultimate reality, which is the highest level of reality, which is God or consciousness. This is what we need to understand. So what we need to understand is that there are three states of consciousness. One is the waking state, second is the dream state, third is the deep sleep state. And apart from all this, there is something called as turiya, which is technically not a state, which is not a fourth state, but it is fundamental to all other states. What is present in and through all of these states? This is consciousness, says Vedanta. The consciousness which enables you to experience the waking state and the consciousness which enables you to experience the dream state, the very consciousness is also present in the deep sleep state. But since there is no object of experience, it seems like there is nothing in the deep sleep state. So the fundamental reality or absolute reality, which is consciousness, is Turiya. It is something which is intangible but which is fundamental to our very existence, and it is fundamental to all three states. So consciousness is what makes all of these three states possible, and consciousness is the fundamental reality. This consciousness itself is God, says Vedanta, and this God can be described as existence, consciousness and bliss. These three are the things that we can use as pointers to understand this God. So I hope you have got some clarity about the Avasthatraya, the three states of consciousness, and how consciousness is fundamental to all these three states. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you on the next video.